Oh, this episode of Cinema Swirl was brought to you with the support of our backers over at patreon.com/cinemaswirl. $5 OTP backers get instant access to every episode of our exclusive monthly bonus show, Cinema Swirl, where Kevin and I review bad movies. And this month, in fact, right now, we've released our review of Grease 2. So if you're hungry for more musicals and hungry for more Grease, then patreon.com/cinemaswirl is the place to go, or indeed to find out more. All right, let's get swirling.
Cinema Swirl! I do this podcast with my fun mate. It's episode number 118. Once again, it's me, your old pal, Captain Kevin, joined as I'm always in the depths of frivolity with my fun mate, Sam Chaplin.
We're just a couple of fun mates having a laugh, and what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
Tell you what's wrong with that. You just call me a fun mate. I'm a fun mate.
Sorry, we're both fun mates.
Yeah. It's alright. Don't deny to get off on a bad start here. Like, we just want to make sure we're on the same level here. I'm a fun mate. You're a fun mate. And don't you fucking forget it, yeah?
Stop getting so serious, yeah? I'm just having fun, alright? Like, just leave it out. No need.
Yes, it's truly a fun episode today because we're looking at more musicals. The jukebox variety won out this time as Moulin Rouge takes center stage after a dignified campaign that saw many viable contenders come and fail to take the crown of the episode that's actually being recorded now.
Yes, so up for the vote were Moulin Rouge.
Hello.
The Sound of Music.
The what?
The Sound of Music.
I beg your pardon?
It's a bit vague, that title, isn't it? Like,
isn't it? Yeah.
Well, at least Moulin Rouge, I know the colour of the Moulin that I'm going to be seeing.
So we got senses galore here so far. We got colours, we got sounds,
directions, West Side Story.
Which I was surprised that it got quite the admirable showing from those people who remembered watching it with their grandparents.
Yes, so we had, a couple of examples of old shite.
That's just getting closer and closer towards the modern day.
Old shite with singing. Old singing shite.
The exact type of movie that you were trying to avoid when we started this podcast.
But what won out was Moulin Rouge, mate. A modern movie.
Yeah, modern. For you youngsters out there.
I was quite surprised that this won, because I thought The Sound of Music was going to take this.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
But I saw, and I can't remember who this was, so apologies, but someone in the replies, I think in jest, suggesting that this was an example of recency bias. I'm like, it came out in 2001. That's 23 years ago?
Exactly. It's a very recent movie for young guys like you and me, Sam, and our listeners. Just a couple of youngsters chatting about a movie for our young fans to enjoy, from 2001, which I assume is 7 years ago at this point now, in spite of what you've just told me?
Look, these are all old shit, in a way, but Moulin Rouge is the winner, and they're all musicals, and we're doing musicals. Whether you like it or not, all of you action fans, please keep listening.
Please keep listening. There'll be some serious action coming up, but you won't believe it'll knock your socks off. There was a threat of full-on electoral interference from Joe the intern, who wants it to be known and embellished in the record forever that this is one of her favourite movies, and she had a crush on both Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor growing up. So it's good that you all went out and voted the way you were meant to, because there were illegal ballots ready to be dumped at a moment's notice.
Look, I didn't want to bring up the interference. I thought we could just gloss over it and forget that happened.
Oh, I'm Sam. I want to settle out of court. I'll fucking come on. Enough of that now.
But look, I'm happy with where we are, because you know what I've done, Kevin? I've looked up the running times of each of these.
Aha!
And this is the shortest, and therefore already my favourite. So
I was drenched in a cold sweat in an Uber ride back from the city centre yesterday when I checked the runtime of this and accidentally looked at the runtime for the musical instead, which is a full 45 minutes longer, but conceivably a movie could be that length. So I was like, It's a long old day at the office. Better get singing. What do you know, if anything, about Moulin Rouge, which translates in English to Red Moulin?
Yes, I know that the Moulin is red. Is Moulin windmill?
Yes.
Because I sort of know that this is a real place.
Yes.
And that there's a big red windmill, I think. And there is a currently a West End musical of this. And I think the outside of it has a bit of the Red Moulin to it. So.
Wait, are you telling me that they're making grain down the West End finally? That we're getting some milling going on? Finally, jobs are being brought back to London.
Which is what David Cameron's Big Society is all about. So I'm happy that finally the West End grain is coming through.
Good stuff. That's a strong white flour, I imagine, is coming out of there.
We're going to be eating some delicious... I was going to say Moulin bread, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay, so I know that it's a jukebox musical. Oh, so right, okay. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Hey,
sorry,
sister,
I know you've pressed the different language button on your podcast app of choice. And I don't know what to happen now.
I think the translation roughly is wanna do some shagging with me?
Excuse me?
I think.
You think?
But with French, it's very florid. So it's like, would you please like to lie in a bed with me, ce soir? And they're very romantic in their language. But if this was Red Windmill,
you wouldn't get past the pleasantries. You'd be like, "Excuse me, please, terribly sorry. Would you ever so mind? Oh no, I've been arrested." That's what would probably happen, wouldn't it?
Brackets fancy a shag, but that's not. So I know that there's popular songs in it.
Are you suspecting it's going to be the most shagadelic movie that we've done on Cinema Swirl?
I think it's going to be sexy.
Yeah?
I think it's got that French, it's not like showgirly kind of vibe to it. I think there's
going to be thrills and frills, Sam.
Yes.
I'll spoil that much for you.
There's going to be some frilly gear happening.
And you won't need to go get your coat.
No.
Because there'll be many of a petticoat as well in this film as well. Which is kind of like a sexy French jacket.
Yeah. So I know there's a French element, there's a sexy element, there's pop songs of the day, but I don't think it's set in contemporary 2001. I think it's set in the past.
In the past, back when there were no pop songs.
And I know it's Baz Luhrmann who done that Romeo and Juliet that the cool English teacher showed us in school to help us
so you're the cool English teacher.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the cool English teacher show you Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet than the idiot teacher that I had that showed us the fucking one from the BBC in the 70s where there's full frontal nudity, and the only time a priest ever walked into our class happened to be at that exact moment.
No.
And I'm pretty sure if that happened in this day and age, he'd be on some sort of sex offenders register, as opposed to he'll have to do extra teaching to make up for his inadequacies.
Yes. So I know that Baz has a very stylistic approach to filmmaking.
What's that even fucking mean?
It's all fucking cool and like, look, it's
stylistic approach.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah. I think he approaches film in a stylistic way.
I wouldn't agree with that. I think it's more of a stylized manner. But that's just my personal take on it, Sam.
I don't think it's filmed in a purely functional way. I think there's going to be some exciting...
Like upside down bits.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, man. I think this is going to be cool. This was a big deal, this film. I remember I was...
Yeah, this was fucking everywhere.
What was I, 10? So I would have been aware of all the advertising and all the songs on MTV and whatever, and
this was so everywhere that when in 2001 I actually went on holiday to Paris, France.
Yeah.
Outside the Moulin Rouge, they were just piping out the like as if the giant red windmill and the giant neon Moulin Rouge sign. They were like,
give it away.
Song from that movie. So it was very much like, I always think, if it's a movie from that period where you were like very conscious of it and you were exposed to a lot of promotional materials,
yes,
and you weren't the target audience, because dare I say, as a respective 13 and 10-year-old boy, you and I were not necessarily the target demo, yet we were very aware. And they didn't even put in little Ewan McGregor's in your cornflakes like they would have with Phantom Menace, and yet we still were aware. We were very aware.
Also, he was in the Star Warses and Moulin Rouge in a similar time frame. Yeah,
busy boy for him. Yeah.
You know how we were describing the sexiness of this? I've got a very good tabloid word for what this film is.
Is it salacious?
It's saucy, Kevin. It's a saucy.
It's a saucy. Top Boffins have deduced the sauciest jukebox musical of the early 90s is in fact Moulin Rouge.
And it's red sauce.
It got a whopping 100 yeses on the Foire survey that we did with Men of Britain.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Of course I am. I'm a rouge-blooded male, so of course I'm going to be excited.
I know, Sam, but look, in fairness, we said this before. Sex Size the Potato Man was a prime example, but anything that was considered sexy pre-9/11, that went out the door.
Yeah.
It was a new era, whole new set of circumstances. We redefined it moving forward. This came out in June 01, so this is basically the last vestiges.
This is the last hurrah.
It's the last hurrah of what was Shagadelic pre-9/11.
I know that seems weird to talk about, but that is interesting. Like the last few bits of media that came out that had huge cultural influence just before that.
People forget that they had to shelve Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 for like many weeks because they were like, oh shit, he's juking and jiving all around this here thing that has just been attacked. So, Now, in terms of a musical having a plot, those are usually nice. But we've just watched Grease 2 over on our swill, where we've learned that is sometimes surplus to requirements. Yeah. So what do you reckon's going down in that big red saucy windmill when they're grinding up all that sauce?
We've got two sexy, saucy stars here. We've got Kidman. We've got McGregor. And if they're not getting saucy, what have I paid my money for? You know, I think I feel like the Moulin Rouge as a place is a sexy place. And there's going to be some baddies being like, you can't have a sexy place. That's not right.
Those French Puritans. I always hear about those guys coming around.
Yeah, it's a classic musical formula. You know, they're trying to put the dampener on the sexy place. And the sexy people are like, no, we love it. It's great, and then everyone comes around to it. At the end, the Puritans, the baddies, they're dancing at the end. They're kicking their legs.
They're going to get sexy at the end.
Yeah.
Because, as we said at the start, you can, in fact, not kill an idea. And a sexy idea is like twice as hard to kill. If like an idea is like a zombie, then a sexy idea is like the zombie that comes up after you kill the zombie in Resident Evil 1. It's like an extra scary, sexy. No, it's not. It's extra sexy, not scary.
And if that zombie's wearing a petticoat, it's game over. Yeah,
game over. Yeah. Game over indeed. Are you expecting, given your rocky track record so far with musicals, is this going to be something you're looking forward to? Do you think you're going to enjoy it? It's very much of your era, I feel, in many respects.
I genuinely think, as a child, seeing all of the fuss about this, I felt a bit like, I kind of wish I could watch whatever this is that everyone's getting hyped up about. There was a bit of that, like, it's slightly too high up on the shelf for me to get involved in this. But, you know, later down the line, I'm sure I'll check it out.
Young Sam's there be like, I want to find out who the Marmalade Lady is. Like, sorry, you're not old enough to find that out yet. But tonight is a different situation.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because the Moulin is red, but Marmalade is famously an orange preserve. I think Lady Jam would be more appropriate for the Moulin Rouge. It's thematic, colour scheme.
You can have a blood orange marmalade.
Oh, grow up, mate.
Well, before we delve into the toe-tapping good times of 2001's most eligible musical, let's delve into 2001's most eligible bag, the mailbag.
Welcome to the mailbag. Voulez-vous que messages, questions, queries, comments, send them in to cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@lady.marmalade.jam.
Yes, jam. cinemaswirl.jam.
Jam.
First message comes in from Refs as Wizards, the Twitter account, Referees as Wizards. It's a good account.
Good account.
Howdy, gents. previously on Swill episodes, you've second-guessed yourselves about whether a really dumb movie was actually smart, and you just didn't get it. I don't think that's actually the case with any of the movies that you've seen, but if you had to pick one and make a case for it, which dumb Swill movie would you pick as actually being smart? Thanks for all the laughs. So, I thought about this, and I was scrolling through the list of Swill films, and so this is regular Swill, so some of you won't have heard the Swill films, but there are occasionally films that are so rubbish that you think, this has got to be consciously rubbish in a clever way. Like,
there has to be more to it than what we've just been presented.
Yeah, there's got some. It can't just be this bad. The ones where I feel that the most are, I think, the British comedies. So your Keith Lemon, the film, and your Sex Lives of the Potato Men. I know that at least some of the people involved in those have comedy chops and know what's funny. And so I don't know if it's possible that they could make something that poor and it not be a kind of a deliberate, getting some kind of sick thrill out of making it.
Yeah, I do feel that comedies in particular are an interesting one on that front, because when something is, preceded by a bad stink of like a bad reputation, it's hard to waft your way through that smelly fog and then actually, get to the meat of the matter, and kind of it becomes an existential crisis determining if something is funny in spite of its bad reputation or if it is just funny but misunderstood.
Yeah.
In terms of other movies that are like dumb masquerading as big brain, it's got to be 2010, the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey, because that's full of all sorts of words, concepts, dare I say ideas, all of which hit with the severity of like a Picross puzzle in terms of their complexity. It's like, no, it's not actually complex at all. No. It's really dumb and stupid. But I do feel like we're often in that situation in Cinema Swill, because that has become a series where we're often looking for the best in something bad.
Yeah.
Because you can't help but feel bad for a scrappy old movie that's endured 20-some years of people making content on the internet saying it's bad and stupid.
I think the important thing to note there is that on Cinema Swill, we don't want films to be bad. We have
to watch them. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are like, think the series it's bad movies and we're going to go full angry video game movies on them. And instead, it's like, no, we're going to watch the Angry Video Game Nerds movie and see if there's anything to be gained from Yeah, it's just got a great idea.
Oh no, what's your idea?
I'm just saying there's so many Nostalgia Critic movies, weren't they? They're feature length after all, aren't they? So could be a lot, and we could learn a lot as reviewers along the way.
Yeah, I think we're both so charitable with movies that we really want to believe that there is good intentions behind them, or clever intentions.
We've ended up enjoying movies that we had no right to enjoy, so then we're always thinking, maybe this movie will be the next one. Sam loved Robin Hood, for instance.
I did? Oh, that was an absolute fucking blast.
Apparently so, he did. I apparently liked Jersey Girl. That only happened a few years ago, but I don't trust myself of having delivered that verdict.
But Refs Wizards, I think comedians or comedy figures or comedy writers, that's where I feel most that...
Yes.
How could you let this happen? You know how to make people... Like Adam Sandler is, in some circumstances, very funny.
Good qualification there. Mike Myers?
Yeah, Mike Myers, knows how to be funny. But it's so puzzling that he would choose not to.
Look, ultimately, the take-home message here is, if you're at home and you listen to a joke from us or anyone and you don't laugh, just take a brief second to go, am I stupid instead? It's the bare minimum. It's the bare minimum you could do for the craft of comedy.
So thank you, Refs Wizards, for that question. And look, if you listen to this and you think, I want to hear these two guys talk about films and try and work out if they're actually clever, then Cinema Swill, patreon.com/Cinema Swill, place to go. Check it out. Come on.
How many are there now?
60-something.
Fucking hell. That's disgraceful.
If you've never listened to them, now is literally the best time to do it.
That's it. It keeps on getting better value, and yet we are curmudgeons stuck in our ways, pricing things in a pre-inflation environment.
That's right. I've snuck the ad into the middle.
It's not an ad. It's a plug.
It's a plug. Next question comes in from Kendrick, who writes the following. Hello, Sam and Kevin. If you could do a killer impersonation of any character from a previous episode and had to redo a swirl, what movie would you talk about and as what character? Now, Kendrick provides some examples here, and what I'm going to do as a favour to everyone is I'm going to try and do the examples that Kendrick lists here. So, for instance, maybe you could review Big Lebowski as Yoda. Abides, the dude does. There we go. Or maybe...
Sorry, where did my co-host of many years, Sam Chapman, disappear to?
Or maybe review Wizard of Oz as the Terminator. We are not in Austria anymore.
Fuck me.
So...
Fuck me.
Thanks for making a great show. Cheers, Kendrick. Now, Kendrick, right, we'll get to that question in a second. But... Kendrick's PS is incredible. I've been listening to the show since at least 2017. Thank you, Kendrick. And I didn't realise until today that Mark Commode is a real person.
Wait till he finds out. He'll be fucking furious.
I'm an American and we're not known for our global awareness, but nonetheless, it was a delightful revelation. Don't worry, though, The Swirl will always be my favourite film pod. Thank you, Kendrick. And yes, Mark Commode is real and could potentially get any of us at any time. So
he's like this generation's radon. You know, he's a benign, interesting gas.
Kevin, what's your favourite film impression to do? If you had to do a whole episode of Cinema Swirl as a character impression, the whole thing.
See, the difficulty here is that there's a lot of impressions that are fun to do, but if you try to do them for longer than a set amount, you're done.
That voice. Yeah.
Like, I'd happily do Al Pacino, like any of our reviews.
Yeah.
Heck, the Scarface review basically was done in Pacino's voice, but you might have noticed there was an extra week between episodes after that one because it's like, you know, you wouldn't have me anymore. You'd have to get a new guy, a new Kevin, and I'd be like, I can't do the Kevin voice anymore. But this guy that we hired, he's really good. He's kind of Irish, I think. That's not a good Al Pacino, by the way. It was a poor one for the reference of the gag. But I would think the easiest one to do long-term over a whole episode would be Rocky.
Yes, Stallone. Yeah.
Stallone. It's low energy. He likes to tell jokes as well. I feel there's a lot of impersonations that I'd be inclined to do. But if I try to do jokes, he'd be like, why is he doing jokes?
Yeah.
But Rocky, he'd be like, that tracks. Yeah. Rocky would do a little rhyme at the start of an episode of his podcast.
Can you do your rhyme for this episode in the Rocky voice, please?
Hey, this is Rocky Balboa. And this is my podcast where I show my friend Paulie the movies he had not seen because he was too busy being a bitter, jealous bum. He's one fun mate is episode number 118. Hey, Rock, I love Pepsi. Now, come on, Paul, we're going to get to the movie. No, hang on a second. I got to review all this malt liquor first. All right, Paulie. I thought the people just want to find out about Godfather Part 2, you know, but you got to drink all that brown liquor. I do.
Now, for listeners at home, that wasn't me butting in as Paulie. You just get Kevin in the booth and you get in multiple characters for the price. He can just go.
What I like about when I've ever been tasked with doing two impersonations is the waiting moments between sentences where both voices become one.
Yeah. So thank you, Kendrick, and sorry that you've had to learn that Mark Commode is in fact real.
It was your parents' job to tell you.
Wait till you find out about Simon Mayo. I mean, that's...
You woke up on Christmas morning and you assumed that some make-believe person left you all those scathing reviews. It was in fact a real bloke.
Let's close up the mailbag. I don't know any other songs from Moulin Rouge. And it's a musical.
Oh, it's just that one on repeat.
Okay.
Come on, Sam, it's 2001. What are the top hits of the day that could honestly fill this bad boy out?
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it didn't matter.
And then Hugh McGregor comes in and goes, one day I did a movie with a kid. It wasn't very good. Everyone hated me and hated her. They called her a Nepo baby because she was. Anyway, there are, I'm sure, many songs from Blur that could have made easily fat in here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? But they're not. They're not, though.
Woohoo! With the frilly leg kicks would be fun. So this wasn't a musical. This wasn't a stage musical predating the film.
It was
since
filmed
become
a musical. Yeah.
So this is the OG Moulin Rouge story.
Yes.
But it's based on a place that is real and existed before. Right. Okay.
I mean, look, if you know anything about Baz Luhrmann's style from your English class, you can expect a certain touch, no? When you said the word stylized, that was kind of a cop-out. But, you know.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a fucking down and dirty, gritty sex drama that you're about to watch with a few songs thrown in for good measure.
Here's my prediction. I'm not going to be bored. That's my prediction. I could be wrong, but that's my prediction.
No, I think you're not going to be bored. Yeah. I think you'll like it.
Yeah? Do you like it?
I don't love it. I like it. Okay. I don't love it. And the issue is that for
Joe
me,
loves it.
Joe fucking adores it.
Okay.
But since her childhood, she has adored it. Right. She holds on to it very, very close. She is extremely excited to watch it again, no doubt. I feel my issue with it is simply one of the nature of the type of musical. A jukebox musical I never get into as much as an honest-to-goodness, fucking... I was going to call it Boots on the Ground musical, but that doesn't really make any sense. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting off on the shore there, unloading the kit, writing a song, making someone do it as dialogue. I want the cringy, I am the mayor of this town levels of songs. Instead, we're going to get actual songs.
You just want thingy again.
Les Miserables.
Les Mis. Yeah. You just want that.
I do. But I want cumbersome dialogue. I want someone to be like, I have come up with an idea that will transition us into this as opposed to, woohoo! I don't want, come on, that's cheating. Look, that's cheating.
There is a sense in both film and actual stage musicals that a jukebox musical is not a proper thing and it's just commercial and easy.
There's a reason we don't call DJ sets on the radio podcasts, because they're not the same thing, are they?
But
because you're padded out with the fucking life raft of popular music.
You get those people in the audience of Les Mis stamping their feet and clapping their hands, and then I'll tell you that you've done a good job. Look, that ran out of steam, but it's a proper thing. I want to hear some songs that I already know.
You're going to like this because you fucking love music, you freak.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry that the film's not just sound effects that you like.
I could watch this musical.
You like Les Mis because it's dialogue, which isn't music.
Look, just give me Les Mis recorded with the Mario 64 sound font, all right? That's all I want. But instead, we're doing this.
Yes.
Let's go do a cinema swirl. Sam, initial gut reaction to the rougest of Moulins, Moulin Rouge.
I've had a big bag of sugary sweets and I feel full and giddy, and it's a weird sugar. It's a sugar rush film. I've had
sugar rush film.
No, it's naughty. You've had there's too much. There's too much. It's a lot. I feel
you've eaten too many sweets and you've gotten consumption.
Yes, overconsumption in my case.
What did your father tell you? This would happen.
Hell, like what a sugary.
Like, sugar is sweet, which I notice is like adjacent to the good adjectives that you would usually use when we come back. I find it immediately alarming that this is the first ever musical that your initial gut reaction, there wasn't a song in your heart.
Right. The problem is there is a song in my heart, and for whatever reason, I want to go Moulin Rouge. But that's not in it, and that's not part of it. But look, I love the music in this.
You love the music.
I'm fascinated by the music in this.
It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Tell you what, it's interesting, and it's a lot. It's like an overwhelming attack on the senses. Attack feels bad, but
feels bad. And don't say relentless either, because I feel like
It does relent.
It does relent. It has its moments of relention. Well, we'll get into it. We'll see how we got on here. I was very perturbed when I sat down to record, and as I was doing my mic check, I literally got a news flash. Between the pre and the post swirl, calamity has struck the real-life Moulin Rouge.
Oh, no.
For real.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
In between yesterday and now?
Yes.
What's happened to it?
Bloody wheel fell off.
No.
Yes.
Did we manage to curse the Moulin Rouge somehow?
I don't know, maybe.
Wow.
Looks like that wicked Duke got his way after all. He fucked up that Moulin Rouge good and proper.
The wheels have literally come off in the time since we've started recording.
It's time to pack it in, Moulin Rouge, you know. You can't get away with that stuff in 2024, you know. The can-can is a cancelable dance as far as I'm concerned, you know.
It can be cancelled. Right, Kevin, I love the sound of an orchestra tuning up. I don't know if that counts as music for you, or whether you can appreciate it as well. But
no, that's good, because it's like there's a lot of video games that have that at the start, don't they? You know, like Super Mario All-Stars has chattering people, and I always said that people are like the orchestra of life.
Whoa, man.
It's all right. Yeah. It's, you know, I'm not going to relent on gems like that, just so you know. If you're looking for them, they're going to be there constantly and throughout.
That's beautiful. Spotify Auto Chapter Creator, make sure you mark that one out as a real doozy.
I just found out about that as well. And I am delighted to find out. I think that in itself could be its own episode where we just go through
read those.
The ready-made chapters for all the episodes. And how often the word Pepsi is going to show up there.
Yeah.
Quite frequently, I imagine.
If you don't know what we're talking about and you listen to this on Spotify, there's a new chapters section. The AI has listened to each episode and made its own choices onto like chapters of the podcast. So some of them, it seems like they've figured things out and gone, okay, this is the pre-swirl, this is the...
Oh, would they literally have that bit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of them have gone, hell for leather and gone mad. But I'd encourage you to look at them for yourselves. But
I'm very intrigued.
Kevin's point that humans are the orchestra of life. I think that if we keep saying that enough, that will become a chapter.
No. Humanity is the orchestra of life. Sure, humans are the instruments.
Very good. No,
and the conductor is God. No, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
All right, final one. Finally, the Holy Spirit.
Okay, you locking it in?
Yeah.
You locking it in. Holy Spirit.
Final answer, Sam.
The Holy Spirit.
Thank you. Hey! Paris, 1900. Are you allowed to play the Fox logo like that with the orchestra and the curtains?
I liked that.
Whoa!
And look, we're in Paris, 1900. We get a little snippet of the Sound of Music, Kevin. We needn't have bothered putting that in the vote because it's already in here. What was the point?
It's woven in seamlessly like so many songs. Yes. Because this movie, as well as being a rich tapestry of popular music, none of which I'm going to identify for the record, but Sam will, every single song, he will. But you've also got like scraps, bits, the wingtips of other songs that are just like, I will throw that in there a little bit. I'm interested really ultimately to know about the legality of this, how they divvied up all the bits. Like, because you only got one line in this, they're like, all right, we'll give you half off. Are you still playing for all of I Was Made for Loving You, Baby, assumedly?
I think Baz Luhrmann was making liberal use of the fair use policy.
No.
That'd be amazing though, if it's like, well, I used 30 seconds, so technically I'm allowed to do it.
You're all right, yeah. In the gold.
Kevin, the special effects in this, the kind of computer effects, have a definite feel to them, and I'm going to try and describe what it is. I know this came out in 2001, but it takes a while for the Hollywood movie effects to filter down into other things. This has the feel of a 2004 indie music video from the likes of Franz Ferdinand, Modest Mouse. You know what I'm saying? It's got that feel to it.
Jesus Christ, you are so right. That's way better than what I said, which was a diorama made with late 90s FMV games.
But that's what those videos look like.
That's true. Oh. Look at the siren over here with his song. Oh, remember music, Kevin? No.
No.
Stop that.
What's the greatest thing you'll ever learn?
that Ewan McGregor is a very strange, enchanted boy.
Yes, enchanted boy is how they're describing him.
Boy.
So he's a poet. He's an English poet, but he doesn't do an English accent, really.
No, everyone else in the movie does. And he, depending on when you catch him in this movie, or in mid-sentence sometimes he'll switch, you're either getting Phantom Menace or Train Spotting, and nothing in between. You're getting a full-on hello there, or you're getting a little more of the gruffness of him comes out a little bit, you know? So he is, I don't say he's bad in this, because he's not. But he's not a singer, and he's not fabulous at settling on an accent, but he's somehow immensely... He's basically a very strange, enchanted boy, Sam, is really what I felt he was.
That's the vibe that I get from him. He's strange and enchanted. So he's there looking all sad and saying the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
So this is happening in the future as well. This is in like 2001, you know, so where such sentiments, I guess, still ring true. But like, he is bigging up this Moulin Rouge from the get-go, Sam.
Yeah.
Like, to the point that when he says Moulin Rouge is a full-on Austin Powers,
and it's a nightclub, and you can tell it's a nightclub because all of the stuff is like blurry and fast-paced. But in the future, when it's sad, he's dishing out spoilers left, right, and centre. He's like, it's the future. I've got a beard. I love Satine. She was a courtesan. Brackets, sex worker.
Brackets, the sparkling diamond.
Yes, the issue with the word courtesan is that I keep thinking of artisan, like a nice loaf baked by an artisan baker. Yeah. But a courtesan baker is a different thing.
No, very different. That's just a particularly niche courtesan is what you've got there.
Yeah. The woman I loved is dead, so we know the ending here. It's a sad story. But
spoilers.
Let's hit the rewind button and go back to 1 year ago in Paris.
Yeah, 1899, which was very much that generation's 1999, in that there was a
End
lot
of the century.
of viruses going around at that time. But like, you know, he's going back in time because he's been greatly affected by this place. And I was immediately struck with the over-the-top nature of him fawning over A, the lady, and B, damning the place where he met the lady. And I was very against this notion that a place of brick and mortar becomes a wretched, cursed place because you have a personal issue with one of the staff there. I thought that was very strange. And then my mind did wander because I'm talking about Satine and the sparkling diamond, how men came from all around. And this was the only place in the country you could come to experience such lavish cuisine and frivolity. This movie, but Hooters in Nottingham. Imagine that.
Yeah.
A lot of it would transfer. You could go from 1899 to 1999 or 2009 quite quickly. Don't damn Hooters just because you didn't get on with Satine. She's the head server and has a lot of fans.
Yes.
She can't make time for you all.
I wonder what music would be in that musical.
And then the lads come in for the footy and the wings.
Yeah.
Hit it. I'm a director. Let's gonna get a bit wing. You know, your favourite.
What song you do? keep doing it.
It's the one about your man who predicts the riot.
Oh, okay. Yes, okay. I understand.
And we lost all joy of that in the UK after the riots. I first moved to this country against the backdrop of the riots. And I was like, that's the end of that song.
And the open spot comedians kept doing material about it for at least 10 years afterwards.
Oh, they're still doing it.
They've got riot stuff, so... You know.
The riots didn't suddenly not happen.
No. This film moves so fucking quickly, especially in this opening, like, half an hour or so.
I'm impressed by the bravado of this movie. That's basically like, I bet a lot of you have come to see this movie with your partner and you're not really sure about it. I'm going to give you 5 minutes that's going to make you immediately think this movie's definitely not for you, because it's like, it's like a Looney Tune musical.
It's a fucking cartoon.
It is. All of a sudden, a dwarf came down through the ceiling. Yeah, he's very excitable.
Yeah.
And I don't know why there was big Edinburgh Fringe Festival energy to this bit.
Yes.
Anyway, that's our show. If anyone wants to join us, of course, we all love keeping the free fringe free.
Yeah, keep supporting live plays at the Moulin Rouge. So Ewan McGregor, whatever his name is, I think his name is Christian in this, the character's name.
Christian. Yes.
He's been roped into a play somehow by just living in a flat, and the other characters sort of fall into the flat, or look, he's roped into. He's doing a play. He's
doing a play with the sort of people who wouldn't go and die and become empty chairs and empty tables in Les Mis. That's what these lads are. They've got revolutionary ideas, but they only want to stay in the bedsit and write them down instead, and maybe hum a tune to them. But one of them was afflicted by a most strange concoction of illnesses known as narcolepsy.
Yeah, there's a sleepy one.
There's a sleepy one as well. Joe was quick to inform me that most of these people are in fact real-life historical figures whose real-life actual roles have been bastardized to the point of non-recognition. So I was like, well, it's just why I probably don't know that then, isn't it?
Well, one of them's Luigi from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
And that's why he keeps telling Christian, you just gotta believe, Christian. I know you don't think Preach loves you, but you just gotta believe.
So he's doing the play, he's coming in, he's singing songs. He sings like The Sound of Music. Does The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music?
Yeah, they've loads of bits and bobs here, isn't it? He's basically got all of Spotify, but he's in 1899, so he's able to... And he can auto-generate chapters for any of his plays as well as a result of that. It's very impressive.
So I was watching this, and he's throwing in, like, modern... songs that are more modern than the time when it is. And I was watching this with Sophie, and I had to sort of ask, is this a plot point that he knows...
He's like a time traveller, lad.
I think she realised I was thinking of that Richard Curtis film where a guy wakes up and he's invented the Beatles or something. It's not that.
That's awful shite.
It doesn't come into it that he knows all these songs, and that's amazing because no one knows. It's just a fun way of bringing in contemporary music into an old setting.
We're telling the story that this man invented all of these songs, and Elton John's got a lot to answer for, is all I can say.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you thought all the copyright holders got their heads chopped off in the Revolutionary War? Is that what you thought? Oh, how? Yeah, I've heard it all before. But this bit here is the first time I saw this, it was difficult to stay in the room because I usually leave rooms when it's like this, when it's very loud and very vibrant and lots of sound effects and lots of close-ups and lots of diagonal camera angles. It was all very Saturday morning children's show, specifically Dick and Dom in the Bungalow. It felt a bit like this. There wasn't much slime, but there was everything else.
It was dizzying, I would say. Dizzying.
The sugary nature was very noticeable. Yes. And yet, Sam, I would not call it a saccharine movie.
No. Sugary but not saccharine. Kylie's in it.
Yeah, there she is.
Yeah, as like a sort of pixie fairy thing for a bit.
She's a special absinthe fairy.
So this is a jukebox musical, but the jukebox is broken and plays 6 songs at the same time, I think is what's happening here. So
as in, the hills are alive with the children of the revolution. Awesome.
It's mashup culture.
It is. And in 01, that must have been the damnedest thing.
Yes.
You know, he would be like, excuse me? You know, I feel like now in 2024, this comes across a little bit like the person who's in charge of the playlist at the party has got extremely itchy feet.
Yeah.
They are hopping.
Skipping
They're hopping between songs here now.
Right. You know what I respected? A lot. There is a famous song from this that was a single that was very popular at the time, and it was, played on the radio, played on MTV, etc. The Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Moi.
I love the fact that is in this sequence. It's in the actual movie. You know when like bands record a song for a film and it's promoted, and then the only time that song crops up is in the fucking end credits? Because it's not actually part of the fucking movie. No, this is in it. This is actually in it.
Yeah, and honestly, music stopping doing that, that's what killed the music industry.
Yeah.
It wasn't streaming or anything like that. It was you stop doing the song in the middle. Although here, if that song is a steak, this movie has chopped that steak up and thrown it into a big bowl of udon with all other sorts of accompaniments, because you do have a bit of Nirvana thrown in there as well.
And the Nirvana bit was what made me realise that songs making cameo appearances instinctively makes me laugh loads. Like, it just made me laugh when I recognised songs. It was funny to hear the song.
It's basically like someone wanted the feeling of of Avengers Endgame in 2001, but exclusively told through now that's what I call music compilations.
Yeah.
You know, all your favorite songs show up and have their moment in the sun. And techno is here as well.
Yeah, techno's here. Jim Broadbent is here as Ziedler, the owner, the manager, the main guy of the Moulin
He's
Rouge.
fucking insane in this. I love him. He's so... I'm like, when he showed up, you're like, he's going to blow his gasket in like 10 seconds. Yeah. That's him. And he's there the whole movie bouncing around like a porcelain Wario. It's fucking amazing.
This film has real YouTube poop / shitpost energy to it somehow.
It does,
yeah,
yes.
it's especially this early bit.
Particularly because we're quite light duty so far on plot. Like, we go a good 20 minutes where it's just, like, it's me and Sam bridging our divides. It's sound effects and music coming together as one.
Finally. And it's zooming around, it's very fast-paced until Nicole Kidman is here.
Yes, and hush falls over the room, which, if you read it wrong like I did, it makes it feel like she's really killed the vibe. Like, everything was great, like... playing Nirvana. No. Oh no, here comes this fucking Diamond again. I can't believe she's killing the vibe on another party. She's not alone though, because there's an important guy here tonight. Folks, everyone's favorite here. Everyone loves the Duke. Here's Duke and his fabulous new outfit to take in the famous Moulin Rouge.
Yes. Now, we have a kind of real hustle style mix up here. It's a kind of comedy of errors. In the Edinburgh Fringe Festival lot, they're trying to get their play put on at the Moulin Rouge. So they're sort of sneaking in to be like, hey, can we, at the same time, the Duke is there to invest in the club altogether, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, so basically, to put that in fringe terms, this is basically like the free fringe lot have snuck into the underbelly, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah.
And then Greg Davies has showed up going, what's all this then?
Yes. But Ewan McGregor's dressed the same as the Duke. And so there's a bit where, Jim Broadbent, who am I meant to be? Oh, and like... Satine, Nicole Kidman, is being sent to...
Oh, she's gonna have sex with this Duke.
Sleep with the Duke to sweeten the deal.
She's gonna fook the Duke.
And she's like, Jim Broadbent, which one? And he's like, it's this one over here.
I can't tell you, lady, I'm bouncing off the walls because I've become a bouncing ball with a face and voice. He is a little bit nightmarish.
Yeah, it's scary, but it's very fun.
I've not been to sleep since I've seen this movie, and I'm thinking that if I have the wrong ratio of cheese tonight, Jim Broadbent might come careening in.
Yes, that it's the bright red ruddy face just shouting. Just going,
I need to normalise my Jim Broadbent levels. I need to watch him in a regional detective series or something now, just to bring it right. I need to see him in a wax coat and a pair of wellies just to fucking equalise my humours here a bit.
So we're getting a mix of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend and Material Girl. Again, I'm laughing at the cameos. It's a lot of fun.
Do you think they play Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend in the diamond mines across the world to let everyone know you are doing important work?
I think so, yeah. That seems like a nice thing to do, doesn't it? The mix-up has happened and Ewan McGregor has been picked rather than the fancy pants investor Duke.
He's just salt of the earth. He's salt of the earth Glasgow or Tatooine or wherever it is this next line is going to be. He's very, very mercurial in the sense that he can't settle on an accent.
But then if you wanted a bit of tonal whiplash, Satine falls off her perch. She just faints and kind of collapses.
Yeah, she takes a proper big...
Yeah.
You know, I estimated that as, for wrestling fans, as roughly a Hell in a Cell height that she fell.
Yeah. That's a big bump. She does get caught, but,
she does get the round of applause as well. They chant her name. They were standing up for the desire of Satine here. And I was thinking, classy crowd this. The hat game was very strong throughout this movie.
Yes, but she's coughing up blood. She's not very well. She's ill.
I've seen ladies like this. She's going to be coughing up diamonds. That's probably why the blood's there as well. It's just all part of the act.
They're rough diamonds that are scratching her throat.
They are in the inside there,
But we go again back from that, like, oh no, something's wrong, to okay, she's in the room, which is is the room an elephant? The room is an elephant?
Yes.
Yeah.
The room is an elephant where she's been tended to by medical professionals. And my immediate thought was like, I think she's got what Mr. Freeze has. She needs more diamonds. I think that she was very adamant throughout her entrance when she wasn't trilling.
Yes.
That diamonds were in fact a girl's best friend. And she was said girl. Get this woman some fucking diamonds already.
And Ewan McGregor's here thinking, I'm going to do a little poetry reading. But she's taken that as one of those British euphemisms. And so...
Oh no. Oh dear. Oh dear.
It's an actual little comedy of misunderstanding here. There's double entendres. It's quite long, and I'd like you to be comfortable. It's quite modern what I do. Ewan? Bloody Nora, that's quite naughty stuff.
He struggles a bit here. You've all been there, Ewan. There's many a person who struggled to get an erection while reciting poetry, but he muscles through,
It's one of the hardest things to do.
He's doing what he needs to do, which is to be tricked into having sex by accident with a dying woman.
Yes, yeah. It turns out his poetry is cribbed from the future. He's stolen it from Elton John. It's the song Your Song.
This happens in school all the time, where some punk kid is like, I bet these teachers are so busy that they're not going to notice that I've just cribbed an extremely popular song. That is, I see what you've done there. Someone's thieving, either from the future or from the past, but someone's thieving.
I think, you could go on Reddit and find a whole theory about like how he's a time-traveling musical thief.
You know what, as well, I genuinely got to say this, because no one else is gonna, no one's gonna have the balls to fucking say this, Sam, right? But I think it's pretty low rent to come up and say you're gonna do some poetry, and then you start singing a song, and all of a sudden she fucking lights up like a Christmas tree. She's so happy. That's not the same. If I rocked up to the local poetry jam in Salford and just sang American Pie, I'd obviously get a standing ovation, but I'd feel like dirt inside because it would be wrong.
I think, Kevin, the pop stars of today are the real poets, So actually, you're wrong, mate. That is poetry.
Pop stars of today are humans, which as we established earlier on, they're instruments in the orchestra of humanity, conducted by the Holy Spirit, and I'll hear no more on it.
I think Noel Gallagher is, poet laureate of Britain, mate. So
you know what? I think he's a thug and he should be locked in jail.
So,
and guess what? I'm here in Manchester, so if I see you up to any of your fucking tricks, I'm telling. I'm going to tell your mum, going to tell teacher, going to tell Blur.
Yeah. You don't want to be telling them.
And Damon Albarn would be very, very happy to get any more kind of controversy under his belt, I'm sure, And he'd be like, recognise this? No!
Oh dear. What a strange story that's been.
I really hate that I found out that it was girls and boys that he was singing, because the thought that he was trying to get people to go woohoo and they wouldn't do it, and he's like, oh, they obviously don't know the word.
So he's just singing Your Song by Elton John, and Nicole Kidman is screaming with delight here. The moon is singing in the back. At one point, they're out on the balcony, and the moon is singing.
I like that moon. Moon's a big fan of that moon. He's a cute moon. He's like a much more sedate Jim Broadbent, essentially.
I thought it was Jim Broadbent for a bit, but apparently it's not.
I've become the moon puppet. Oh no, he's 2 steps away from becoming a god.
And Nicole Kidman having a great time is like, oh, I can't believe it. I'm in love with a young, talented Duke. And Ewan's like, yeah. Wait, Duke? I'm not. I'm just a
shapely Englishman, governor. Although, that doesn't really fly, because pretty much everyone in this Parisian whorehouse is, in fact, definitely English.
Yes.
Hello, governor.
Oh,
we're the local Parisians. That's who they got to sing in Les Mis. Someone's got to do a census over there. What's going on? During the Revolution, did you kill all the French and accidentally replace them with Brits?
So, just as this misunderstanding is coming into everyone's like, oh, okay, you're just a writer. There's been a mix-up. The actual Duke bursts in through the door. He's actually here. It's so sick. Like, it's properly quite camp. He's like hiding behind her bum and things like that. It's, it's a bit of a laugh.
I was thinking it was very frivolous, and then I remembered that this woman is dying of consumption, so I was like,
you can
made a more dramatic caper, this bit, didn't it?
You can still have a bit of a laugh, it's fine. She's now taken the Elton John song and she's singing it to try and distract the Duke with the pure beauty of Elton John.
And he's a passive Duke, he'll take on board any he's very suggestible Duke.
Yes. I hope you don't mind. In all the hubbub, the Duke is shooed out of the room and she collapses into Ewan McGregor's arms. But then the Duke comes back in saying, oh, terribly sorry, I forgot. No, what are you doing? And, he's caught them.
Oh no, this is what it looks like. I'm murdering her. This guy, seriously, she collapsed from a consumption-induced fatigue spell in your arms, and you're like, babe's fucking so in love with me, man, and my amazing writing. Wait till she hears Rocket Man. Wait a minute. Imagine there's a scene where Hugh McGregor's like, and I think it's gonna be a long, long time. What the fuck's a rocket? Back it up. Real slow.
But the excuse that they use, she wakes up and comes up with the excuse that they are rehearsing a play. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, all of those bohemians have been perving on this whole thing and sneak in to actually make the lie real and be like, we're rehearsing. Hey, welcome to the Edinburgh Fringe.
I love the name of their free Fringe show. Spectacular, Spectacular.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah, good. I'd go and see it if it was free.
What's the play about? Love. All you need is love. Stop. Stop. No.
He sings in such a loud way. It's really funny.
Such a loud, unnatural
all you need is love.
Love is all you need.
And fair play to him, he's having to make up a story here pretty much on the spot, but he starts making up the story about kind of what's actually happening. But it's set in India because there's some Indian thing in the corner that they can, refer. They're just, improvising a story here, but saying that
I need a foreign dignitary of some... A Maharaja. Very good. And we need a theme. Love. That's good. I've often said that's all you need. So, that's good.
So now, the story is about a penniless sitar player and the evil Maharaja and the courtesan. The courtesan thing doesn't change culturally.
No.
They keep that the same.
And just when Duke is kind of wavering a little bit, like when they're like, are you sure you want to come to Hooters or not? They're basically like, there's going to be like tits as well. Oh, great, perfect. Yeah, sign me up. That's good. Yeah.
But they're literally like singing and dancing and moving around, and Jim Broadbent comes back in with his big red bouncing ball face. And like, spectacular, no words in the... it's a lot. They're really selling it.
Pure canning, Sab, and I won't abide it.
It's the sort of pitch where if it was on Dragon's Den, Tuka Sullivan wouldn't be having it. Deborah Meaden might be toe tapping. Peter Jones might think it's a laugh and get up there and start, bopping along.
He'd dance a little bit.
But then ultimately he'd say, no, I'm out.
I think, though, you have a better look on Shark Tank. I think you get Mark Cuban by saying it's about love, and he's like, that's beautiful, man. I'm going to give you $1 billion because I feel bad.
And so now they have to... I mean, the Duke's like, I rather quite like it.
Well, if there was to be an element of tantric lovemaking within the performance, I suppose I could invest.
And so it's happening. They're partying, Children of the Revolution, yada, yada, yada. Ewan and Nicole romantically singing to each other from across the street.
He's proper head over heels here, and she's like, I don't know if we're in love. I'm just like quite an exceptionally good courtesan, but he's like, you did. And she, all right, I understand. In the name of love. Oh, you're threatening me now with you too.
Bit of you two in there. In the name of love. I can't do it. It's however he sings is so like I'm singing. It's real singing.
I was made for loving you, baby. Do you think Bono's satisfied with one line?
Yeah.
Come on.
This is like, they're just going through all of the songs that have got love in them and just, well, the ones they could get the rights to. Some of them are really obvious ones. Some of them are like, do we need U2 in there?
I just think it's interesting that this Brit has got access to a library of music from the future that includes details of a massacre on Bloody Sunday.
Yeah.
Perpetrated by the British, and he did nothing to stop it. He just wanted to sing songs so he could have a shag. Another typical banged up, boozy Brit abroad.
Well, quite.
I rest my case, my lord.
But they settle on Heroes by David Bowie here. And the thing where they're Weird Al Yankovicing the lyrics. So it's like...
They warp them.
We should be lovers. We should be lovers. It's a lot. I wouldn't say it's parody. But it's...
No, but some would say he's altering the lyrics to the point of, like, removing their meaning.
Yeah.
I am in love. And you are in love.
Together, we could be lovers. Look, it's fine. It's a funny scene. Again, it kind of made me laugh.
But it's like, if all of music is a buffet, this lad's went in and had a grubby bite of every single tray, and he's not used the tongs.
Yeah, and then he just stuck his face in the chocolate fountain and just doesn't give a shit. So there's a line that keeps coming up. There's a kind of recurring thing. How wonderful. But the problem with this line is I always end up singing it to the tune of Auld Lang Syne. So I do the how wonderful now you're Auld Lang Syne. But I
the problem is as well, I know very little about Elton John, but I watched the really bad Elton John movie, and I don't know if my timing's off, but anytime I hear this song where it's like, here's a song for you, and I love you more than anyone, I'm like, I don't know, the timing of this, because there's a distinct part of that movie where he's like, I've got married and I'm crying at the breakfast table. Did he write the song for her?
Maybe.
No, the timelines are kind of off.
Don't know. Yeah.
This is your song, and I'm taking it back. It's not for you anymore. My song.
There's a bit where Toulouse, a real historical character.
Yes. He was far from the caricature he was portrayed to be.
Luigi. He's kind of on the roof, listening to this, and sort of crying. And in my head, I was like, well, he's going to be a villain of the piece. Like, I just thought there was some kind of weird jealousy or something where he was going to fuck everything up.
Yeah, I get you.
But that doesn't happen.
I think it's just a side effect of syphilis.
Well, yeah. Now, problem is, we've got the Duke on board. He said, I'm in, I want to make you an offer.
But he's like, I'm the Duke and I love deals, so you have to give me a deal. Well, Duke, if you put on this play, we'll give you the Moulin Rouge. And you have to have sex with our finest courtesan. All right.
It's a bit of a...
You drive a hard bargain, Duke.
Who's the one in Shark Tank who's like, I'm Mr. Fantastic, and with every single person, he's like, oh, I'll just take a recurring stake in your...
Mr. Wonderful,
Mr. Wonderful, that's the one.
Yeah.
The Duke, he wants the deeds to the Moulin Rouge.
And he wants 25% of the online.
Yeah. And he wants Nicole Kidman to be, I think in his words, exclusively bound to him. Not literally, but, you know.
No, look, everyone's I think the Duke is oft misunderstood.
Yeah.
He simply arranged a private supper in a Gothic tower.
Yes.
Right? And it's up to her to decide. Do you want to go have a private supper in a Gothic tower? Or do you want to go sing songs and write dodgy plays with a heroin junkie of the needle?
They just want to sing their silly songs and rehearse a little play, don't they? They're all giddy. They're sort of drama students just having a laugh, you know.
I was interested by her affliction here, which is the consumption only seems to take her when she's felt like, or her meter's filled up of shame. And it makes me think, TB ravaged Ireland.
Yeah.
Good old Catholic Ireland. I'm wondering if there was a correlation there
because of the amount of shame.
Shame and consumption. Yeah. And it was a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, so to speak, there.
It's not my place to say, but if you want to do the independent research, I'm all for it.
I'm just saying, if you're like me and you're Irish and you find someone else who's Irish, you can play the game where you pull up a chart of your family tree and find out how many of your family members died of consumption. Because there's going to be a few.
Make sure you do that at Christmas, because it's a real laugh.
Less fights than Monopoly.
Well, sure.
And for bonus points, you can point at the ones who died of consumption. You said, they didn't suffer fool's gladness.
We get a lot of, like, the Duke We get a lot of the Duke making arrangements to have dinner or to go out with Satine.
It's supper. It's so much better.
Supper.
Like, supper for me, that's a fucking win. Supper's great. If you've made it to the end of the day and you just want a little meal, fantastic. Supper, small, simple. You can get away with stuff that you wouldn't normally.
Sure.
It's not the time commitment of a dinner. It's casual.
Supper. You just want supper. And that's, fair enough. But she's just running away with the writer, giggling around with the writer. He's sick of it.
Duke's a simple man. He wants two things. He wants supper and he wants to experience deflowering a virgin. Yeah. Which leads us to perhaps the creepiest song. Because, look, I go to karaoke often, me and Joe. We love a bit of karaoke.
Sure.
And Like a Virgin is a bopper, but we have spent a lot of time having sung it or seen other people sing it in recent months and years that were like, that's a racy song.
Yes.
And it's probably wouldn't pass the smell test in 2024.
No.
With Madonna singing it, she kind of could almost get away with it, having done it. Jim Broadbent and the Duke bopping around talking about virgins. You can't get this cursed in musical theatre easily, is all I can say.
Quite scary and creepy characters in very different ways. The energies are just all over the shop, but neither of them should be singing this. But they do for quite a while.
Different types of creeps. Truly the Wario and Waluigi of singing about virgins. Or things that seem like they're virgins, which is somehow a worse thing to sing about.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, look, we're getting we're going to get a verse, right? A little bit. No, you get the whole goddamn enchilada here. This is the one song after we've gotten mouthfuls of all these. We're going to do all of this one. Because Jim Broadbent looks so funny in his weird ghoulish makeup, dressing up as a young virgin going, hello! Oh!
What you can say about this film is that everyone is giving their all. No one's holding back. No one's doing, a half-baked performance here. This is all full-baked.
He's giving it his all, and he has to as well, because if he doesn't sing the song right, he won't be able to become a moon again tonight.
No. So a doctor determines that while she's unconscious, Nicole Kidman has consumption. That's confirmed. And Jim Broadbent is like, she mustn't know.
Yes.
Sorry. She mustn't know. The show must go on. The show's got to keep happening.
Come on, Sam. I mean, look, I'm not saying stiff upper lip is going to get you out of this one, but I would think that in the grand scheme of illnesses, I'd be calling in for a sick day or maybe a no off work if I had consumption.
But she doesn't know yet that she's got that. They've not told her.
You'd figure it out, though,
well,
you?
You know you'd got something. But as far as she's concerned, she just faints, wakes up, bish bash bosh. And I'm sure that's exactly what it was like, right?
And she's like, oh, raspberries every time she wakes up and looks at the pool of blood on her pillow.
So she's trying to break up with Christian because it's endangering the show and the whole deal, because the Duke is unhappy.
And if the Duke gets bamboozled one more time, he'll literally die.
Yes, but Ewan McGregor's just too charming. He's written a little secret song about love, and he's putting it in the show. This is actually about... I know we'd said it's all Maharaja and sitar player, but really, it's about you, baby.
Hey, baby, check out this sexy new song I wrote for you for the new scene in the sexy play. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Look, it's all going fine. It's all going swimmingly until one of the dancing girls, who seems a little bit jealous of the Diamond Satine.
She literally just shows up and she's like, oi!
Oi, Duke!
Oi, Duke!
It's not about a Maharaja and a bloody sitar player. It's about you! You're the baddie, aren't you? And he's the goodie.
And they're fucking shagging and making funny at all as well, yeah.
And the Duke finally is like, oh, fuck it. Wait a minute. This is about me. But he doesn't go, scrap the whole thing. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Why are you mocking me? He's like, I want the baddie to win.
He wants the dark sided ending. He wants this to be the Empire Strikes Back of Spectacular. I mean, at this point, I was 100% Team Duke because he had charmed me, Sam, in a way that Ewan McGregor had failed to charm me. Because in the fantasy that they had about being together, the Duke was like, ooh, look, a frog. I'm like, come on, man. It's... Can't hate on the Duke, right? He's whimsical. He's more whimsical than you, Ewan McGregor.
Look, you're a big Duke fan.
The Duke wouldn't be in a movie with his daughter. That wasn't... that wasn't of sufficient quality. That's the problem there now with Ewan.
And while he's questioning the ending, the Duke, he's saying, why wouldn't she marry the Maharaja? Like he's providing, security and money forever. Ewan McGregor's like, because she doesn't love you.
Ewan.
Him. He's really giving the game away.
No, that doesn't work. Stop that, Ewan. You're not going to get out of this, champ. This is what we refer to in musical theatre, to use their terminology, as working yourself into a shoot.
Yes.
Because now all of a sudden we've basically conflated this made-up play with the real-life love affair of Satine and Christian.
Yes. And Christian... So Satine, I think, to kind of smooth things over, is supposed to now go and have her way with the Duke.
Yeah. She's like, look, we're going to go have some supper. We'll talk about the ending. We can decide if Bowser's going to get with Princess Peach or whatever it is that you want to end the game, Duke. We'll work it out.
Christian, after all of this, it's like, no, I don't want you to shag him. I'm like, come on, mate. Have you met the tone of this film? Like, just get...
Have you been to a Hooters, Christian?
Chill out.
You told me. Where did you get that loyalty card from then?
Oh, I don't want you to go with him. I want you to be in love with me.
There's no force in this earth stronger than petty jealousy.
When she needs to go and do this with the Duke, everyone's just hanging around.
I love that they're such layabouts. They're like, just kicking around. Oh, we're all sad. What, on his behalf? No, we're just kind of sad. It's 1900. It's like, it's awful. I'm reading a book at the moment, right, about like political intrigue and power struggles in like 1920s New York. And a millionaire in it, his dad just forgot his coat one day, got rained on, and then just died. It's like, whoops.
Wow.
Oopsie doodle.
Yeah.
You're dead now. So there's a particular fragility of life, I guess, that would fill you with a sense of ennui, even if you weren't a bohemian in 1900s gay Paris. Sam, I'm not the biggest fan of the song Roxanne to begin with. Having this lad go full on Tom Waits though was something. Roxanne, you don't need to put out the red dress. Oh, God.
It's a very deep, gritty cover, and I mean that literally in terms of the timbre of the voice. It's, very...
Oh, boy.
Oh, it's a thick soup for this one.
There needed to be, because I didn't have my respite, because there's a bit in Roxanne where they go, and we never got that.
No.
We got all other bits coming in there, and the fact that I didn't get my, it just left me kind of like a sneeze hadn't come through.
And it's another one that, considering we had all of that jukebox, shuffle play, switch everything, this goes on a bit.
Give me the whole one. The guy with the weirdest voice. I mean, in fairness, if I was directing a musical, I'd be like, yo, weird voice, over here, front and center. You're getting a full 3-course song.
So Satine in the room with the Duke, she sort of refuses him.
Even after he gives her the biggest diamond thing ever.
And diamonds are a girl's best mate, as we know. So surely that should, well, look.
Allegedly.
She's like, no. And he's like, no, yeah, we're still... And he starts to get, forceful and gross, and it's while the cover of Roxanne is still going.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the Duke at this element here. Now I thought I was very anti-Duke in this part. I thought
no, you're pro. No,
I've changed my mind because I'm mature.
Not 5 minutes ago, you were saying I agree with everything this character does, and he's my best mate.
Up until this point, and in fairness, tonal whiplash. 2 fucking minutes ago, he's like, "Oh, look, a frog," and here he's like, "I'm gonna fucking get you."
Yeah.
Like, awful Duke. But it's done in that kind of 2001 way where it's all very like flashes and glimpses.
Yeah.
So they leave you with enough kind of ... to like kind of, oh, what happened here? Did he have his wicked way with her, or was he stuck? Because you see this other guy has appeared and like bopped the Duke.
Yeah.
Has he killed the Duke? We don't know.
But you still hear the... Oh, that really shreds the throat, doesn't it, that song? Wow.
Roxanne, you don't have to put on that red dress.
And so Ewan and Nicole, they're gonna...
Don't have to do your hair up tonight.
They're gonna run away together.
Yes, elope. Fuck the show.
Yeah, fuck this.
Fuck the ads. Fuck the haters. Fuck the critics.
Like, it's nearly the end of the Fringe. We can just go home. No one's going to notice.
Fuck the drop. Then you'd be so much quieter on the train on the way back.
Yeah.
If you went on the Saturday. Think about it.
Whereas the Duke, he's threatening to have Christian killed if the show doesn't end the way he wants.
If it doesn't end the way he wants, he's going to have this bald man kill him.
Yes.
And I've taken that to be a very real threat.
The bald man looks quite nice. I'm not that scared of that bald man.
He had a kind of a charm to him. There was a few things this movie did in terms of its visual reads that were very of a bygone era. One was making you assume because the lad's a baldy that he's evil and he's like scary somehow. Two, the presence of a beard makes you wretched and on hard times. And three, the tilt of a man's cap tells you everything you need to know about his social standing.
Yes, but with the scary baldy man, the thing I took from him was that he'd have opinions on a Sunday roast and they'd be very interesting. You know, he'd have stuff to say.
I think so.
Yeah.
Best discussed while eating a Sunday roast to lessen the blows of the criticism that you're serving him.
Yes. So Harold Jim Broadbent is telling...
I'm in love, Harold. No, you're dying. Oh.
Yes, sorry. The Duke is going to kill your boyfriend. Also, you're dying of consumption. Also, you've now got to go and tell... You've got to make Christian, Ewan McGregor, believe that you don't love him so that he will survive, because otherwise he will be killed, even though you ultimately won't survive, Nicole Kidman, because you are dying of consumption. The show must go on. And I'm like...
Show must go on, as they say.
Just let her, get some medical attention or die in peace. Yeah. Fuck me. That's a lot of pressure.
There'll be a hospice knocking around in France somewhere, right?
Before you die, can you just break the heart of the man that you're clearly in love with, please? Like that. That's
just
all
quick,
we need.
Real slow. You know. I want you to go to your grave filled with regrets. That's what I would like.
But because she's such a good actor, Ewan McGregor's he believes it, you know? She gives him a convincing performance of, I'm not in love with you.
Yeah, she says, I'm going to go get duked so you can see you later, bye, you bum.
The film goes all wet and blue now because everything's sad. It was all bright and red, but now it's wet and blue and soggy.
They give him the legitimate bum's rush. They throw him out on his keister.
Yeah, he's determined. He's going to go there one last time on opening night.
On opening night. Have you got those opening night nerves? No, it's just consumption that I have. And unlike consumption, opening night nerves won't kill you.
No. The Christian, he's sneaking backstage to try and be like, you know when you said you didn't love me? I know that you did love me. Say that you love me. Say it. Say that you love me. And they're having a kind of heated argument, and he's doing this backstage. But you know how it is backstage. You know, suddenly you can get accidentally pushed into the centre of the stage and be revealed to everyone in the audience.
Be very careful.
Yes.
I've seen many a stage manager get a standing ovation because they've appeared impromptu, ironically, in the middle of a performance. Sam, you made that seem a lot more feisty and romantic than a soaking wet man coming up with a pile of money saying, I'm here to pay my bill. I paid my whore. You're nothing to me.
Well, yes. I mean, he does that on stage.
All I need is for you to die of consumption. He's horrible here.
He's horrible here. He's saying to the Duke, this woman is yours now. Like women are property. How gross.
The Duke would pay, but he wouldn't make a scene.
No. Whereas in the audience, when Ewan McGregor's like, this woman is yours now, you can see the Duke's like, oh, good, I've got one.
He's like starting to clap like,
okay. But as Ewan's leaving the stage, Luigi, to lose Lautrec, he shouts the catchphrase, which we all know, the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. And Ewan's like, oh yeah. And
in spite of what I said earlier.
That was the greatest thing anyone's ever learned. Nicole starts singing the secret song to bring him back. It brings him back. They sing together. Hooray. Forgetting the fact that the fucking Duke, who hates
right there,
Christian, is there in the front row.
Yeah. So to emphasize how crazy this whole situation is. There's not just people appearing on stage and lovers declaring love after declaring them whores, but seconds before. There's also a bald gunman in the mix.
Yes.
Who's trying to kill this guy, and you want to talk about the bell that was rung and could not be unrung? This guy cocked his gun 5 times and he didn't shoot and kill anyone.
I was going to say it's literally Chekhov's gun, but it's not, because it never... No one gets shot.
There's a big re-raw and rulia-boolia to stop him from shooting people. I'm like, look, director's cut, Baz, give it to me. He comes in, bam, Nicole Kidman, bam, Hugh McGregor, gives him the second one. Here's one for your old man. Bang. Bam. Then he kills the Duke. Then he kills himself. Then you play come what may. All right? There you go.
But he's successfully been saved multiple times from being shot. The Duke himself, after all of these, misfires, is like, right, the gun's here. I'm just going to run up and shoot him.
It's my favourite thing in a musical, Sam, when a non-musical participant tries to get involved in the fun and no one buys it. Because the Duke tries to start doing a rendition of Limp Bizkit's 2001 masterpiece.
My Way.
And he's like, someday you'll see things my way, but you'll never know. Go. This time I'm going to let's all hang out. Oh, a frog.
Goodbye.
Motherfucking Christian, you know that shining diamond dog is one of my homeboys. Let her go, you little bohemian son of a bitch motherfucker.
But he gets bopped square in the face by none other than Jim Broadbent.
Bam!
Bam! Oof.
Hit him with the force of a fucking satellite, that one. The gun goes flying away.
Yeah.
And this is the silliest, most absurd point in the movie that I love so much, where the gun just kind of... and then it hits the Eiffel Tower and goes clink, and it is just very perfectly wrong and stupid and brilliant. I love it.
It's sort of a Super Smash Brothers ending for that gun. Like, it's been knocked out of the arena.
Yeah, it's kind of like Team Rocket. Looks like gun is blasting off again.
And so, look, like, that's a nice sort of ending to proceedings. Everyone's safe and they're singing.
Yes. Now she can die from consumption in peace.
Yeah, I mean, the end of this film...
Oh, yeah.
...is just sort of, she's dying, she's dead. It's really sad. Ewan McGregor gets to grow a beard and be sad and write about it.
And he's from the future, so he's already Googled, can you get TB from kissing a dead body that has died of TB? He knows it's all right. Yeah. Not going to change the bed sheets either, actually.
No, you're fine.
You're grand.
It really just, the ending of this is just pure tragedy, but it's quite quick tragedy. It's just like, and she died and it was sad at the end.
You cut quite quickly to the future where the Moulin Rouge has been transported brick by brick to Skid Row. And just enough time to know that he is destitute because he has got a slightly bigger hat and a slightly longer beard. And he wants to write his song, and his song is the complete lyrics of Elton John and other popular artists.
Yes. And then he makes his millions from that because no one's heard their songs because it's in the past. And he's a time traveller. And he's naughty.
Sam, though, good luck selling a book where you write the end just as a run-on sentence. You don't, center that and give it a few paragraph breaks. Publisher's going to laugh you at the door, mate.
And this is before, he was doing this on a typewriter. If you want to do that whole page again, you got to type out the whole fucking thing.
Whole damn thing. Yeah.
Well, there we go. That was the Moulin Rouge.
It's a fucking insane movie. It really is.
Yeah.
And my mind unravels thinking about it coming out in 2001 because it's still every time I've seen it, it's been Jesus, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
The idea of people in 2001 going to see the guy who did Romeo and Juliet has made another movie. There must have been some fucking heads rolling off fucking bodies in the movie theaters. It's so fucking odd, but I get a lot of joy out of that. I do really like how extremely weird it is. And also as well, it's confidently weird in that type of way where you're you think at the time movies ain't going to be the same ever again. It's well, they kind of were, other than Baz Luhrmann's other movies, I guess. Yeah. But I would recommend, if you enjoyed this, to watch his Elvis movie. I watched that at Christmas. Okay. And it was a perfect Christmas trash heap. It was great.
Is it as wild as this?
It's wild in a different way because it's actual Elvis, and it's come on, baby, I'm going to do some medicine now. And all like psychedelic lines like, we can't go on forever doing loads of drugs, but I will build my dreams on doing loads of drugs. Elvis, you're on stage in 2 minutes, man. Elvis, no. So that's the movie. You don't need to see it now, actually. I've just done it for you. Imagine that, but filmed diagonally.
This is one of the hardest ones for me to sort of work out how I actually feel about it. It's so much. You get so much stuff in this. I laughed a lot.
That's good.
Sometimes at bits where I think it's supposed to be funny. Sometimes at bits where I'm not 100% sure it's supposed to be purely funny, but there is humour to it.
Were you caught up in the music at any point? Like, were you finding yourself humming any of these songs today, or any earworms that burrowed their way into your canal?
A little bit, yeah.
Is it cheating if there's songs you already knew? I don't know.
Well, that's the nature of a jukebox musical. That's the argument, isn't it? It's a cop-out. That first half an hour was bananas, like fully bananas. The narrative tone and shifts of this are a bit extreme sometimes.
And sudden.
They're very sudden. Right, so here's what I'd say. It's a film that gives great value for money. Like, you can't argue that like you've not had a film's worth of film there.
You've been served a lot. You've been served a grand buffet of all things cinematic and musical and everything in between, it feels like.
Yes.
I was wondering, though, how it compares to other musicals that you've seen. Because, I mean, this was a long movie, and I don't think, other than you being worried about it beforehand, its length seems to have been an issue. I think it moves at a very, very breezy pace for a over 2 hours long fucking musical.
It does. It's very pacey, apart from the occasional bits where it suddenly isn't pacey. The jukebox nature helped. I think knowing that there was going to be, like, all you need is love around the corner, or we could be lovers, just at any moment, was very exciting to know that I could be surprised by
a bit of a song, right?
Yeah, by a bit. Like, it's just, you've always got that feeling of, oh, what's going to come next?
Yeah, the Endgame comparison isn't particularly apt, is it? Because it'd be like if, I don't know, Captain America's knee showed up, like, and randomly for half a second every other scene, like, because these random little flavors of songs appear frequently.
It rewards the kind of more modern attention span, I think, because it's just, there's always fucking something happening. You're not going to be... I was right in predicting that I wasn't bored. I don't think at any point I could reasonably say
that's
that
good.
I was bored.
You were bored during Les Mis, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. There are fucking boring bits in that. Jesus Christ.
This is the boring bit of the musical. The bit that you don't like so much. You press skip track on Spotify.
If he was cranking out Smells Like Teen Spirit, it'd be a different story. So I think that it's got that going in its favour, that, you know, I recognise the songs. I liked the stylist. Look, we were arguing about, like, stylistic direction.
When the light's out, it sustains us. Here we are now. Entertain us.
I mean, it's sort of worth the price of admission for Jim Broadbent as this big sort of
he's fucking
scary
great.
nightmare figure.
He's so fucking great at that. Yeah, good stuff.
Look, I had fun.
I feel you're still coming to terms with why you liked the movie, but you enjoyed yourself, you had a good time, you laughed, it kept your attention, the music was good. So I feel like there's been a positive experience all around here, so all that's left is to find out your star wipe rating. Sam, Moulin Rouge, what are you going to do?
This is a really difficult one. And you know I do this on gut feeling.
You've got a good feeling.
4 star wipes.
You heard it here first. In the name.
Oh, thanks for listening to another episode of Cinema Swirl. This episode was produced by Kevin, edited by me, Sam, and I also did the music. If you want to support the show, then patreon.com/cinemaswirl is the way to go. If you want to follow us on the socials, we're at CinemaSwirl on Twitter and facebook.com/CinemaSwirl on Facebook, which is where our votes for episodes take place. If you've got questions, queries, comments, or anything else for the mailbag, then send it on over to cinemaswirl@gmail.com. That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com. Please do keep recommending the show to your friends if you think they'll like it, or even if you don't think they'll like it, just recommend it anyway. Alright, we'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.